What's going on, everyone? Climate Data Report here for today's weather update for Friday, March 17th, 2023, St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all who celebrate. Taking a look at today's satellite infrared picture, you can see here there's a cold front that is slicing through the eastern half of the country. It is bringing some isolated severe weather to portions of the Gulf Coast states, also some wintry weather to the northern plains and the upper Great Lakes in the upper Midwest. The West Coast, look at this. You actually have a quiet picture for once on the California coast. However, that's not going to last, but hey, take the break in the action when you can get it. Taking a look at the latest radar picture, here's our cold front coming through in the east. You see, it does appear as if there is a lot of precipitation on radar with this front, but in actuality, a lot of stuff like in the mid-Atlantic region is actually not reaching the ground because the air is fairly dry. So just expect a few showers in the mid-Atlantic region today. Hey, quick reminder, if you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button down below and you'll be notified when I do future updates. We will be starting our weather education series relatively soon, where I will be doing short little videos telling you about what each feature that I read on a map represents, like what is a high, what is a low, what's the difference between a watch and a warning. That's coming up within the next few weeks. Taking a look at the National Hazards map for today, you can see here we do have a few things to point out. We have more freeze warnings in effect in the south and freeze watches because of the cold weather that's coming this weekend. We also have winter weather advisories in North Dakota, and we have winter storm warnings up for portions of northern Wisconsin, and a winter weather advisory for northeast Minnesota for that system that is coming through this afternoon. Taking a look at the storm reports from yesterday, there ended up being 107 storm reports. 20 of them were wind. No tornadoes reported yesterday, but there may be a survey or two being conducted today, as there were a few tornado warnings. The big winner yesterday was hail. There were 87 reports of hail, and there were 15 reports that were large hail. In fact, there's one report on here that was actually in LaSalle County, Texas. I believe that's LaSalle County, Texas. It was 4-inch hail detected. And it says sheriff reported hail damage to cars, including broken windshields, homes with broken windows. So that is pretty serious. All right, let's take a look at these temperatures that are coming in for the weekend. It's going to be very cold from the central states on into the east. In fact, look at lows tonight into tomorrow morning. Yes, you have lows below zero in the North Dakotas, and really anywhere north of the I-40 corridor, you're looking at temperatures below freezing tonight. It's going to be a rather cold weekend. In the Northeast, you're going to be dealing with wind all weekend long and really cold weather. If you want to see any sunshine in 80s, well, of course the sun's going to be out the Northeast this weekend. There could be a few snow showers along the Great Lakes, but if you want to see some real warm weather, you have to travel down to Florida, where temperatures will be in the 80s this weekend. As we get into Sunday, that front finally gets a little bit further south into Florida, and look at Sunday morning. Yeah, 20s for many people in the United States. In fact, the Dakotas, yet again, single-digit temperatures, and you can see very cold morning temperatures. So if you're in the south, yet again, you got to bring your plants back inside because they will get damaged if you leave them outside tonight. Highs for Sunday? Some places may not get above freezing, especially in the Northeast. For the rest of the country, 40s and 50s. I mean, widespread. Even in California. North of LA, you're talking highs in the 40s. Down in LA, 50s to maybe low 60s. Yeah, this is not a typical March weekend. Well below average everywhere. But what I can tell you is, as we head into next week, things will start to rebound. And you can already see that here at the end of the NAM model. Kansas, you're back in the 60s on Monday. 50s for many other places, but that's really the last day that's going to happen. Let's take a look at the GFS here, shall we? As we get into next week, we'll reverse it a little bit. Here's the front that comes through down south. As you can see, it provides some showers, maybe even some thunderstorms for Florida. It does stall in southern Florida, and there could be continued showers in the next week as it tries to push back north. But There's not much moisture to work with this. Here's the system we were tracking for next week. This is Wednesday. The models have kind of gone into disarray with this one. Yesterday morning, there was some ensemble and GFS agreement that, hey, there's going to be a major storm up here in the northern plains. Still going to expect some snow, but it's really a disorganized, strung out system now. You can see one piece of energy goes northeast. Here comes another piece of energy behind us. And what does happen is a ridge builds in the east. And with this ridge that builds, you get some really warm temperatures along the I-95 corridor up to about between Philadelphia and New York City. And how warm am I talking? Check this out. Let's reverse this a little bit. Here's the European model from the 0Z run last night. This is 18Z Friday for next week. Look at these warm temperatures. That's right, 70s to even near 80s. And we'll advance this one more day. Here's another day with 70s to near 80s along I-95 and even the Gulf Coast states, so a much welcomed warm-up is coming your way. However, look at the West Coast here in the European model. Very unseasonably cold weather in the West. Remember, the United States, aside from this weekend, is usually a seesaw. So if the East is warm, the West is cooler. If the West is warm, the East is cooler. And that's truly going to be the case the end of next week. And look at this. I mean, you're talking temperatures in the teens. This is the European showing teens for highs for many areas in the out west. That's just really cold. Additionally, out west, we have to take a look at this. Let's back up the forecast period a little bit. The next storm system comes on Sunday afternoon in California, but then watch what happens afterwards. A bigger storm system comes on Tuesday, and yeah, once again, here comes another one, Friday for the Northwest, and eventually it will come down to California beyond 240 hours, but we won't worry about that. We'll worry about the next two systems, Sunday and then again Tuesday. The key takeaway is they're not as big of systems as you have seen recently, but it's just insult to injury. And take a look at 240 hours on the Canadian, showing some sort of a big system in the Ohio Valley. I'm sure that will be completely different on the next run. Here's what the previous run showed. Yeah, it was more south. So you can't always judge a model at 240 hours because it's not really reliable. But one thing that is becoming clear is there's going to be a warm-up late next week. I'm becoming confident that the eastern part of the U.S. will see a warm-up for at least 1 to 2 days. The only area in question would be New York City. Sometimes it's harder for warm fronts to blast north at this time of year, and sometimes they get hung up more south. So we'll have to watch to see what happens with that. Taking a look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, take a look here in the east. Above average temperatures expected. This map would actually be even more impressive if we did not have the cold snap this weekend. But look out west, below average, well below average. You got that purple Barney color popping up, which anytime you see that, you know that's really cold weather, especially in March. Slightly above average up in Alaska. How about the 8 to 14 day outlook? Still, along the eastern coast, you have above average temperatures. From Texas into the Ohio Valley, near normal temperatures. And still below average in the west, but not as bad as the 6 to 10 day period. And you have a tale of two seasons in Alaska. Above average in the north, below average in the south, and sandwiched in between some near normal temperatures. How about precipitation? Much of the country is going to be slightly above average on precipitation, with near normal precipitation in Texas. And the western portion of the Four Corners region, almost into California, you have a good bit above average. Also the Tennessee Valley and Kentucky, above average on the 6 to 10 day outlook. 8 to 14 day, different story. Slightly above average in the east, slightly above average in the west. Unfortunately, below average in the plains, and a good bit below average in Texas and up there in Minnesota, where you actually do need to rain, because as you saw in Drought Watch yesterday, it's really dry in this region, and that's not a good thing. Hopefully we can improve on the drought situation there, but as of right now, I'm not really seeing it, especially for Kansas. I'm not seeing any signals that point towards a really wet pattern in that area. Also, finally, 8 to 14 day precip outlook in Alaska shows southwest Alaska is going to be above average. Alright guys, that does it for today's weather outlook. Not a whole lot going on, but you definitely want to bundle up this weekend anywhere you are in the country, because it's going to be a cold weekend, especially in the Northeast. You're going to have winds gusting 25 to 30 miles per hour, maybe even 35 miles per hour. So wind chills are going to make it feel like, hey, it's in the 20s all weekend in the Northeast. And plus, again, like I said, if you're near the Great Lakes, there could definitely be some snow showers or snow squalls as the cold air is blowing off the open water. All right, we'll have another weather update again tomorrow. If you like this video, hit the like button down below. If you want to know about my future updates or anything else I do on the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. See everyone again next time.